Okay, so it's Wednesday, January 19th. It's 9:50 a.m. Back at Wade Creek. Energy is supposed to be about, I want to say 400. I can't remember now. But high tide's at 12:10. High tide's about a 7 or 8 foot high tide. So trying to get here a little bit early to hit 6 foot and 7 foot. I'm here with two club members. Kathleen Dennis and her husband Steve are camping at South Beach, but they don't know much about surf perch fishing, so they asked for help. So I don't normally fish on a day like today, but your last name is Dennis, right? Your last name is Dennis, yes. Right? Okay. But swells look pretty good. Waves look pretty good. So it's a little windy. It's very wet. It's been raining all morning. But again, I don't normally come out on days like this, but I'm here to help these guys try and catch some fish. So fishing conditions are actually kind of nasty. It's probably about a 10-mile-per-hour wind. It's raining. If you don't stand in the right direction, it's blowing in your face. And it's about 50 degrees. And yeah, swells are a little bit gnarlier today than during the summer. But it's not super bad, but it's really shallow here now. So slight drift from left to right. Catch conditions actually don't look too bad. When the waves hit just right, it gets deep enough. And again, this is only our first couple of casts, so as we move north to the trees and tide comes up, from open conditions, you know, catching conditions get better. Boy, I sure hope fishing conditions get better too. 15 minutes. This is my second cast. Might be my third, can't remember. No action. I don't think Kathleen and Steve had any action either. So we're just making our ways. We're almost at the trees now. So hopefully soon. But man, the wind, sometimes the wind comes and it's pretty brutal. So we'll see how long we last. The stupid thing is trying to help them. I got really forgetful. I left my backpack, my rod holder up at the car, so all I got is my one rig. I got 2 bags of worms and my GoPro. So if I snap my rig, that's going to be it for me. Kathleen and Steve are in their 70s, and you know, they're coming out here in this kind of fishing conditions, and you know, pretty spry people. So I'm hoping I'm doing that when I'm in my 70s. So you know, kudos to them. And fishing conditions are definitely miserable. It's not too bad until the wind comes up, but once the wind comes up, man, it's pretty bad. Catch conditions don't look all that great either, because the waves have moved out and it's pretty shallow where we're casting into. So we're past the trees now, no action. Don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to take it. So, it's a sculpin. It's a sculpin. That's funny. So, first catch ever in the surf, right? Why don't you let some more line here? Let me, all right. Hey, at least you didn't get skunked like the rest of us. Awesome, that's great, man. I'm glad you got a fish.
Got something.
Yeah. Did better than I did. Perch hit much harder. Yeah. Cry uncle here pretty soon.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is start fishing my way back to the parking lot, because I always like to double track the area, because you know, if the tide comes in, things change.
Yeah.
But so I wasn't sure how long you guys want to stay. You're welcome to stay as long as you want, of course.
Okay.
The other thing you can think about is you can go get warmed up, get some lunch, and then go fish down at Curtis Street. You know, maybe the rain will drop down. Oh, was it? You know, well, again, it's not the rain, it's the wind. You know, it's every time the wind comes up. But I'm pretty soaked.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it got through my rain jacket. So I'm going to start heading south.
Okay.
The hooks I gave you are called circle hooks. Yeah, and the reason why I like to use them is because they lip hook, and there's a higher chance. And if you don't let your fish go, when you release your fish, because I'm like a 99% release person. But yeah, this is all you do. So you just move back and forth. I want to stay where these waves are. See these waves coming in now? So things are actually getting better here, it looks like, because it seems like they're getting closer. But see how shallow it is right now?
Yeah.
All the way out there?
Yeah.
So that's why You'd want it to be a little bit deeper water.
Later, high tide.
Well, sometimes when the tide recedes, then the waves are actually closer to you. It just depends on the contour of the beach. So it's kind of like a kiddie pool. You know, a kiddie pool's got really shallow, but some of them have a deep end,
Right.
right? And so the higher the water, then the further you are from that drop off, right? And so this is where, you know, if it's really shallow here, it drives you up the beach, and then you're a long ways from that drop off. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you just got to kind of find the fish, and the beach changes every week. That's why I don't believe in a secret spot when you surf perch, because the beach changes.
It changes.
And the conditions change, the tides change, the currents change, you know, so, glad Steve got something though. So high tide's up for another, let's see, it's 10:40, 11:40. Yeah, it's not for another hour and 25, 30 minutes. And generally what people believe is the closer you get to higher tide, the more success you have. I was trying to come like at a 6 to 7 feet high tide, but I didn't think the weather was going to be too bad.
The weather is just a challenge.
Yeah, well, like I say, that's my normal method of deciding to fish is I look out the window. Today would have been get back in bed day. Well, I'm sorry we didn't get anything,
Well,
but now you know how to do it, kind of.
now I know how to do it,
Yeah.
and I've been in the water, I know what the waves feel like.
And today is kind of a medium day, so if you read my reports, I talk about energy. I want to say today is like a 650 to 675 energy. Might be lower, but go back and look at the forecast, and it helps you calibrate. So the thing I usually do is if I catch fish, I go back and look at what time I caught fish, and then I try and remember what the tidal height it is. And wherever you catch fish, look behind you, mark your spot. That way you can come back the next day. I'm not a big catch person, more of a bigger fishing experience person.
Well, this is a great experience.
Yeah, I don't mind not catching anything on certain days. Like today, I'm kind of glad actually you drug me out. No, because it's I haven't been out.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Welcome.
it's kind of a really refreshing day.
Yeah.
You know?
Not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
I've been in really
Oh,
worse days.
last year I've been worse than this. Unfortunately, I snapped my rig on my last cast, which is like cast 6 or 7. So I have no gear because I left it in the car. So we've been here, let's see, about 50 minutes I want to say. No action. Made it to the north of the trees, but that was it. But man, fishing conditions were, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say in terms of awful, like an 8. Only thing would have been a lot worse would be harder rain and more wind. But it was pretty miserable there for most of the time. Catch conditions were kind of okay. There was crashing waves when we first got here, but they kind of moved out and it started getting shallow as tide came in. So it's still about an hour and 40 minutes to high tide, so I'm definitely leaving before high tide. But like I say, it wasn't much fun today because of the fishing conditions, but it's always fun to meet new members. So I think Kathleen and Steve were pretty jazzed about getting some lessons because they hadn't surf fished before. So I'm glad, even though Steve didn't get a perch, he didn't get skunked, so that's awesome. All right, that's it until I come back to Wade Creek the next time.